Honorable Madam Susma Swarat, Minister of External Affairs, Dr. Yosna Suri, President of FICCI, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank Madam Minister for the kind invitation and the warm hospitality extended to me and my delegation. I also congratulate FICCI for the successful Delhi Dialogue, now in its 7th year. For centuries, the friendship between countries of Southeast Asia and India is cornerstone of Asia's peace and prosperity. Looking to the future, a strong and lasting ASEAN-India strategic partnership is crucial to sustain Asia's rise. This is why we welcome Prime Minister Modi's Act East policy. Shri Modi's vision comes at a time when ASEAN is becoming a community. We must seize this momentum and make our shared progress and prosperity truly meaningful for our peoples. So let me share some ideas on how we can strengthen the ASEAN-India strategic partnership. First, we must boost ASEAN-India physical connectivity in all aspects: land, sea, and air. Thailand is ready to be India's gateway to ASEAN and East Asia. Conversely, India can be ASEAN's gateway to South Asia and the Middle East. On land, completion of the Thailand-Myanmar-India trilateral highway will transform Northeast India from being landlocked to land-linked to Southeast Asia. Furthermore, the trilateral highway will connect mainland Southeast Asia's East-West Economic Corridor to the Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor and the Chennai-Bangalore Economic Corridor. At sea, the Indian and Pacific Oceans will be joined. Opportunities await for investment in shipping lines and port infrastructure to connect the port of Chennai with Davao in Myanmar, Lam Chabang in Thailand, onward to Phnom Penh and Ho Chi Minh City. By air, millions of travelers and business people are moving through our airports each year. Resumption of the negotiation on the ASEAN-India Air Transport Agreement is needed. To reinforce the status of Delhi, Mumbai, and Bangkok airports as the world's major air transport hubs. Second, we must convert our transport linkages into a real economic corridors. Our efforts in building hard infrastructure must go hand in hand with improving our software. At the recent ASEAN Foreign Minister retreat last January in Kota Kinabalu, I emphasized to my ASEAN colleagues that we must do more work behind our borders by focusing more on harmonizing domestic rules and regulations, particularly border procedures. This would help ease flows of goods, services, and people, as well as reduce production costs and strengthen our competitiveness. ASEAN and India should take this same approach if we are to achieve the full potential benefits to our partnership. To our ASEAN partners, I also suggested the 1+1 concept. This means that whatever Thailand pursues an economic policy, we will consider how to link that policy to our partners for mutual benefit. And indeed, India is Thailand's and ASEAN's strong partner to materialize this concept further. Third, ASEAN and India constitute a huge market of more than 1.8 billion people, nearly a quarter of the world's population, and a combined GDP of 4 trillion US dollars. With our FTA in place, let us work harder to fulfill our leaders' vision of reaching 100 billion US dollars in bilateral trade by the end of this year. Our FTA is also an important basis for the world's largest FTA, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP. We hope India will do her part to ensure its timely conclusion this year. Fourth, we must move towards becoming creative and knowledge-based economies. ASEAN and India have much to offer for innovation through academic and research cooperation, especially in fields such as medicine, science, and ICT. Sri Modi's idea for information highways, or highways, can help ASEAN and India build our digital connectivity through better use of ICT and e-commerce. ASEAN and India can improve trade and investment flow. We also have much to learn from each other about how to increase agricultural productivity, food manufacturing capability, and energy efficiency. Together, we can promote green growth and do our part to build global food and energy security. Ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by underscoring India's importance to wider Asia-Pacific region. We are excited about India under Sri Modi leadership. As a man of the people, his policies resonate well with ASEAN's goal of becoming a people-centered community. A strong, vibrant India is crucial for regional progress and prosperity. We also welcome India's support for ASEAN-centered regional security architecture. One cannot have prosperity without peace. So the fact that we are working together on both attests to the strong foundation we are building for the ASEAN-India strategic partnership. Thailand, as a long-time friend of India and one of the founders of ASEAN, will always strive to strengthen the vital partnership. Thank you.
Thank you, His Excellency, for your views and your recommendations. And may I now invite His Excellency Dr. Hang Chuan-Ron, the Honorable Minister of Education, Youth and Sports, Cambodia, for his address.
Your Excellency General Tanasak Patimapragorn, Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Thailand, Your Excellency Srimati Sushma Swaraj, External Affairs Minister of India, Your Excellency Dr. Suri, President of the Federation of the Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, His Excellency Dr. Moktan, Deputy Secretary General of ASEAN, Honorable heads of the delegation from ASEAN countries, honorable ambassadors, honorable chief ministers, distinguished guests and delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I am honored and privileged to address this August gathering, the 7th edition of the Delhi Dialogue. I would like to thank the Government of India and the organizers for the excellent arrangement for this premier forum to discuss issues related to building connectivity between India and ASEAN in anticipation of the establishment of the ASEAN community at the end of this year. India has been a long-standing dialogue partner to ASEAN, and the vision statement adopted at the ASEAN-India 20th Anniversary Commemorative Summit provides future direction of our strategic partnership in support of the ASEAN community building process and the ASEAN centrality. India and ASEAN have a long-standing maritime trade and people-to-people relationships. The recently signed 3 agreements in Myanmar covering ASEAN-India trade in goods, services, and investment will underpin the Act East emphasis in India's Look East policy. Cambodia welcomes India's plan to invest in CLMV countries. Therefore, in order to shape our post-2015 agenda, I would like to humbly share some views on the way forward in building this strategic partnership between India and ASEAN as follows, according to the 3 pillars. Pillar number 1, people-to-people connectivity. ASEAN and India should promote a cultural renaissance by organizing joint cultural events and festivals. We should intensify efforts to maintain civilization bonds between Indianized states of Southeast Asia and India. They shall include the Ramayana festival, in which all 11 countries present their own versions of this great Indian epic, joint exhibition of Indianized statues, a 20th century temple, Koh Kai in Cambodia, Jusu House, grandeur statues representing another Indian epic, Mahabharata. A recent Hindu festival in Siem Reap was a success. The Nalanda International University is also the testimony of the ASEAN-India cooperation. We must also take steps to enhance cooperation in tourism by linking various Buddhist cities such as Bodh Gaya in India, Bayon Temple in Cambodia, built by the great King Jayavarman VII in the 13th century, Borobudur, Sukhothai, Luang Prabang, and Mison. We should intensify education exchange to support ASEAN community building by establishing the ASEAN Bologna process, through which mutual recognition of diplomas, credit transfers, student academic exchanges, and joint research projects. A network of vocational training centers, including in the area of IT and teacher training, could help address skill mismatch in our respective countries. Recognizing India's high capacity and capability in IT sector, India's involvement in sharing its IT knowledge and experiences to ASEAN member states would be much appreciated, including the realization of India's offer to establish IT training center in CLMV countries. In the area of youth cooperation, it is worthwhile to celebrate the Bandung spirit among our young people to promote the Panchasila principles of peaceful coexistence. ASEAN plus India Games should be promoted. We all know that Indian ancient martial arts, Kempo, have been the source of inspirations for many Asian martial arts, such as Surinchi Kempo, Karate, etc. Pillar number 2, institutional connectivity. The recent regional architecture in the Asia Pacific has been evolving extensively due to the recent development of political economic landscapes in the region. In this context, we appreciate India's support for the ASEAN centrality in the evolving regional architecture in ASEAN-led mechanism, in particular, the ASEAN Regional Forum, ARF, the East Asia Summit, the ASEAN Defense Minister Meeting Plus, in order to foster constructive dialogues and consultations on political security issues faced by the region. I am convinced that the ASEAN-India FTA, as well as liberalization of trade in services and investments, will, including the negotiation on RCEP, will increase our trade volume to more than $100 billion by the end of this year, and to $200 billion as proposed by Her Excellency the Minister by 2025, increasing investment as well as fostering business-to-business relations between ASEAN and India for a market of 1.8 billion people. In this regard, PPP must be further promoted. Pillar number 3, physical connectivity. The stronger coordination between ASEAN and India on physical connectivity should be encouraged, focusing on both land, maritime, and air connectivity in the following area. India, Myanmar, Thailand trilateral highway, with its extension to Cambodia, Laos, and Vietnam. Industrial corridors should also be developed along the highway, including the Indo-Mekong Industrial Corridor that link mainland South Asia to Davai Port in Myanmar, then to the Mumbai-Delhi Industrial Corridor. This cooperation would also include logistics, transit, and insurance, and other forms of financial services, and therefore would transform our sub-region into the industrial cluster and joint production base. The Indian-ASEAN Maritime Silk Road will cover not only hard infrastructures such as designated ports, but also soft connectivity such as rescue operation, law of the sea, maritime law, harmonization of maritime rules and regulation, and shipping agreements. Air transport connectivity will include the potential areas such as open sky agreement. Thus, enhancing connectivity between ASEAN and India will shape the post-2015 agenda to the Delhi Dialogue, which is one of key mechanisms to promote Track 1 and Track 2 interaction between ASEAN and India. ASEAN member states welcome more engagement from India's private sector and explore possible cooperation on public-private partnership to support the implementation of ASEAN connectivity projects. In conclusion, the three main forms of connectivity will contribute to realization of the ASEAN-India FTA with a combined market of almost 1.8 billion people and establishment of the ASEAN community by the end of 2015. This strategic partnership will progress toward a peaceful, prosperous, and emerging Asia, thus promoting regional peace and security. Thank you for your attention.